Course Plus. Expressway to elegant career.
5 consequences of unrealistic expectations. Without even realizing it, we may be setting unrealistic expectations for ourselves and others. They may not have been unrealistic at the time, but circumstances constantly change, and what was realistic at one moment may not be the following day. When we stick to unrealistic expectations, there are a number of consequences that follow. Today, we're going to tell you exactly what those consequences are. Unrealistic expectations breed frustration and disappointment. Setting unrealistic expectations for yourself and others leads to disappointment and frustration on both ends. On one end, the person who created the expectation will feel disappointed and frustrated when the other party fails to complete what was expected. On the other end, the person completing the expectation will have the same feelings with themselves and possibly with the other person for expecting too much. Unrealistic expectations lower self-confidence. Trying to live up to an expectation that is unrealistic can also mess with a person's self-confidence. When a person feels like they're failing at something, it's extremely easy to attack our self-confidence and self-esteem. When our self-confidence takes a hit, it becomes exceedingly more difficult to complete tasks and live up to the expectations set for us. Unrealistic expectations lead to burnout. Another common consequence of unrealistic expectations is experiencing burnout. If we're constantly trying to reach high expectations, eventually we're going to feel numb to the task at hand. That numbness turns into burnout, which then causes a variety of other issues. These issues may include mental health struggles and physical health issues due to excessive stress. To avoid burnout, it's essential to take breaks when needed and to know your limits in terms of what you're capable of and willing to do. Unrealistic expectations result in rushed jobs. When we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves and others, it may cause whoever is responsible to rush in order to meet a deadline. While reaching a deadline is ideal, this sometimes means quality is sacrificed as not much time can be spent on the assignment. Instead, it's important to create expectations that are doable for whoever is tasked with taking them on. In this case, it's always best to allow ample time for someone to complete a certain task for you to avoid being stuck with a rushed and half-done task when a deadline rolls around. Unrealistic expectations contribute to overwhelm. Unrealistic expectations are a common cause of overwhelm in the person responsible for living up to them. If an expectation is set too high, that person may spend all of their time and energy focusing on that one expectation while ignoring other obligations. By ignoring these obligations, they mount up and that person is left with a huge pile of responsibilities after completing the high expectation. As a result, overwhelm kicks in and stress levels rise. Conclusion. Although high expectations aren't necessarily unrealistic, it's always important to adapt your expectations to an individual person's skill level and capability. This way, you can set reasonable expectations that a person can complete in a timely manner without sacrificing the quality of the task. In turn, you get a reliable comrade and they gain a sense of trust from you for the future.